I have received 2 questions I would like to talk about. The first one is Yasin, that is asking about if emotions that you're feeling are based on past experiences and traumas that you never could forgive yourself for. It's things you have done and you cannot let yourself go. And all that is bottled up, and then you're projecting it out to other people. How do you know that that is really anger? And how do you, or if it's just a misinterpretation of how anger really feels, how do you know? And I hope, Yasin, that I have answered your question, because when anger is happening, when a feeling is happening, it's just an emotion happening. It's not you being angry. If you have had early childhood traumas, it was trauma happening. It was not happening to you. Let's say that you were beaten as a child. Then we have this idea as grown-ups that I was beaten as a child. But thing is if it hadn't been you, it would have been someone else. Let's say that it wasn't you, it was, Kurt. Then Kurt would have been beaten up instead of you. So it was never about you. It was never about you. You were just there. The one that you perceive yourself to be today was just there. And I am very much aware of how much pain early childhood trauma can inflict on us, and how much PTSD that we can have as adults, how the way we have shaped our entire lives, the way that we have connected with partners, the way that we have dealt with conflicts, the way that everything has panned out in our lives has been completely shaped by those traumas that we had as children. I'm very, very much aware of that. Where this knowledge is going to help you is when you can let it go in a way that you no longer identify with it. So you create space for the pain and you create space for the experiences. But you also see that if I wasn't there, somebody else would have been there, for example, in my place, then exactly the same would have happened to that person. It was not something that I inflicted. It was not something that I was guilty of. It was not something that I did or did not do. I couldn't have done anything to avoid it because it wasn't about me. If any other person had been there, it would have happened to that other person. It just happened to me because I was there. And yes, that creates a lot of pain. And yes, it creates a lot of things which we then, like you say, lash out and react in ways and do things that are so difficult to forgive ourselves for. What I just talked about, where any feeling you have only leaves an impression if you identify with it and if you keep picking it up. Because if you have a feeling of failure, let's say, or a feeling of regret, regret will arise. And you might think of things that happen where you feel regret towards what you did. If you can create space for that emotion being there, then that feeling will disappear again. See, like the cloud that is creating a shadow on the lawn without leaving an impression. Let the regret arise and let it disappear when it's done being there. And then you create space for what is. You do not try to push it away or be anyone else than who you actually are. I hope that is helping you, Yasin.